Coming up on 5 Minute News. Palestinians see victory in Gaza truce as Israel warns Hamas. White House offers GOP lower infrastructure plan. And black fungus disease linked to COVID spreads across India. It's Saturday, May 22. I'm Anthony Davis. Palestinians rallied by the thousands on Friday after a ceasefire took effect in the latest Gaza War, with many viewing it as a costly but clear victory for the Islamic militant group Hamas. Israel vowed to respond with a new level of force to further hostilities. The 11-day war left more than 250 dead, the vast majority Palestinians, and brought widespread devastation to the already impoverished Hamas-ruled Gaza Strip. But the rocket barrages that brought life to a standstill in much of Israel were seen by many Palestinians as a bold response to perceived Israeli abuses in Jerusalem, the emotional heart of the conflict. Like the three previous wars, the latest round of fighting ended inconclusively. Israel claimed it inflicted heavy damage on Hamas, but once again was unable to halt the rockets. Even as it claims victory, Hamas faces the daunting challenge of rebuilding in a territory already suffering from high unemployment and a coronavirus outbreak, and from years of blockade by Egypt and Israel. The conflict brought to the surface deep frustration among Palestinians, whether in the occupied West Bank, Gaza, or within Israel, over the status quo, with the Israeli-Palestinian peace process all but abandoned for years. The continued volatility was on display when clashes broke out between Palestinian protesters and Israeli police following Friday's prayers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, a flashpoint holy site in Jerusalem sacred to both Jews and Muslims. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fended off criticism from his hawkish base, who said he ended the offensive prematurely without a more decisive blow to Hamas. Netanyahu warned against further attacks, saying, "If Hamas thinks we will tolerate a drizzle of rockets, it is wrong." He vowed to respond with a new level of force against aggression anywhere in Israel. The White House put forward a $1.7 trillion infrastructure counteroffer on Friday to Senate Republicans, dropping from President Joe Biden's sweeping $2.3 trillion proposal in the spirit of finding common ground. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki disclosed the new offer as talks were still underway between key cabinet secretaries and GOP senators at a crucial stage towards a deal. Skepticism has been rising on all sides amid complaints about the lack of significant movement off the opening bids. Republicans had offered a $568 billion plan. But the memo makes clear Biden is not interested in the Republicans' idea of having consumers pay for the new investments through tolls, gas taxes, or other fees. Instead, the administration is sticking with his proposal to raise the corporate tax rate to pay for the new investment, which is a red line for Republicans. The White House and Republican senators have been in talks ever since Biden met with a core group of Republican negotiators over the possibility of working together on an infrastructure plan. The White House dispatched the transportation and commerce secretaries and top aides to Capitol Hill to meet with the Republicans earlier this week, and they had a follow-up video call yesterday. The slog of those negotiations is certain to mean new worries from Democrats that time is slipping to strike a compromise. The president's team had set a soft Memorial Day deadline to determine whether a deal was within reach. States across India have begun declaring a black fungus epidemic as cases of the fatal rare infection shoot up in patients recovering from COVID-19. The fungal disease, called mucormycosis, has a 50% mortality rate. It affects patients initially in the nose, but the fungus can then spread into the brain and can often only be treated by major surgery, removing the eye or part of the skull and jaw. It is usually a rare disease, but more than 7,200 people in India have now been reported with mucormycosis, and 219 have lost their lives. The rise in black fungus infections, mostly in patients who had severe cases of COVID-19, has been linked to an overuse of steroids in the treatment of the coronavirus, which can acutely compromise the immune system if taken over a prolonged period. The high incidence of diabetes in India has also been blamed, with high blood sugar levels linked to susceptibility. India has the second highest rate of diabetes in the world. The disease is caused by fungal spores found in soil and organic matter, usually inhaled by humans from the air. The mold enters the body and then manifests around the nose and the eye sockets, causing the nose to blacken, and if not stopped, will move fatally into the brain. Healthy individuals will usually fight off the fungus, but it can spread fast in those with compromised immunity. So far, 5 states have declared black fungus to be an epidemic, and more states are expected to follow. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.